What's up guys, today we're going to be comparing the Galaxy S10e to the S22 Ultra. So you might be thinking about upgrading from the S10e to the S22 Ultra. It is going to be similar in a lot of ways, but also this is kind of like a big upgrade as far as the size wise, because you're going from a small phone to a massive phone. So let's go ahead and get into it. The S10e is an awesome older flagship phone for 200 bucks. You can find about that price point. I'll put the link down below. S22 Ultra, it's $1,200 for the base model here. And let's just jump into the hardware. So as you can see, the S22 Ultra is just massive compared to the S10e, as you can see there. It's bigger, it's heavier, and it's something you're gonna have to definitely get used to. Also, one thing you'll notice with the hardware is that we have a new camera design, if you can see that. So you can see, I think they still both look really good. You have a matte finish on here, so it doesn't pick up fingerprints as much. The S10e, you can kind of see the fingerprints a little bit. On this color though, if you get the other color, you can't really see the fingerprints. Down below, you'll see a hardware difference here. So the S10e has a headphone jack and it has SD card support. The S22 Ultra has no headphone jack and no SD card support, but Samsung now has thrown in the stylus on the S series now. So if you're somebody that maybe you're excited about, being able to draw on your phone, do digital artwork, or maybe you just want to navigate with this, so the stylus is really handy just in case you one of those people that just really like to use the built-in S Pen to do whatever with. It's got a lot of features and it's very handy, but remember, you are giving up the headphone jack and the SD card support, so just take that in mind. Both phones are glass and metal devices. They're both IP68 dust and water resistant as well. They can both get wet, no problem. So that is pretty much it for the hardware differences. Just a bigger, beefier phone compared to the S10e for sure. Alright, so next is going to be the display. So you're coming from a 5.8 inch display to a 6.8 inch display. It is a big difference, guys. This phone is, if you got like smaller hands, you're gonna be like shimmying this phone and using two hands. It's a big phone, but you might want to upgrade because you watch a lot of videos, so you want a bigger display, which makes sense. But the benefit with the smaller display is that it's easier to navigate and reach. So if you're looking for something if you're trying to upgrade this phone, you might look for like an S22, the standard version. If you want to keep somewhere similar to this display size, but that phone is still kind of big as well compared to this. But the specs go, S22 Ultra is 6.8 inches, 120 Hz HDR10, and it is a 1440p display, 1750 nits peak brightness. You'd have a slight curve on the display, if you guys can see that. The S10e is completely flat as well. S10e is 5.8 inches, so if you guys can see that big difference there. 5.8 inches, it's got HDR10 plus dynamic AMOLED, and then it's 1080p 438 for the PPI. Both displays look really good. Like I said, you really can't tell the difference. It's not like the 1440p, you won't really tell the difference unless you like watch a nature video. And if you come up like really close on the displays, they still both look really good and really sharp as well too. So like I said, I really can't tell the difference. Also, you might notice that the punch hole is much smaller on the S22 Ultra than the S10e as well too. But as far as displays, really the main thing you'll notice is the size and the 120 Hz. That's also probably something that you're gonna like. So it just feels more instant. It just feels smoother with the scrolling. Not that the S10e feels slow, but 120 Hz is something you really need to try. I would say go to Best Buy and see if it's something that is worth, something that you would find. But it just looks smooth. I think anybody would really like it, but I don't think it's necessary for everyone though. But yes, I do love the 120 Hz. It does make everything feel smooth. Now let's talk about the specs a little bit more. We have the newest Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor on the S22. It is running Android 12 One UI 4, and then we have the Adreno 730 GPU, no SD card support, 128 gigs of internal storage, and 8 gigs for the base storage. The S10e is also running Android 12 One UI 4, and then we have the Snapdragon 855 Adreno 640 micro SD card support, so this phone is capable of having more storage than this phone as far as the base models go. Then you have 128 gigs and 6 gigs of RAM on the S10e. As far as the speed, performance goes, there's really no big difference unless you count the 120 hertz. But when I'm talking about like opening applications and stuff like that, the Snapdragon 855 is still extremely fast. They play games the same as well too. They both can play games at high settings, so there's no real difference when it comes to speed. In my opinion, we get a quick app opening test here. You really will not feel the difference there. The 855 is still pretty fast. Like I said, the 8 Gen 1, it'll be slightly faster when it comes to opening games, but if we hop into something like YouTube, they perform pretty much the same. Like there's really no difference there. And as far as the software experience goes, you actually do still have a lot of the same things. The only thing that the S22 Ultra really has is the S Pen capability there. Other than that, you have the same features. So you have the same Samsung desktop support. You have the same reverse wireless charging on here. Secure folders, Dolby Atmos. They both have NFC on here. Basically, they have all the same stuff as far as the software goes. So you're not really getting anything new in that regard. Like I said, unless you use the S Pen. I wonder if the S Pen will recognize the S10e. No, it doesn't. It works on the Galaxy Note phone. It doesn't even register it. Let's check out the speakers. We got Dolby Atmos max volume on both. Yeah, the top speaker on the S10e sounds better than the top speaker on the S22 Ultra. It's just giving out way more bass and it just sounds more balanced to me. Yeah, it sounds like it's a little bit louder too. So that's why I said, I don't know what Samsung was going for with these speakers, but it just doesn't sound as full as the S10 series in general, or the Note 10 series. So the speakers just sound better on the S10e to me. Alright, so I want to touch on the biometrics here. So Samsung, I think, and they really haven't really gone this route on a lot of phones, which I love this implementation of the fingerprint sensor. They have it on the power button, so you just never think about unlocking the phone with this guy. It is really instant, very fast, and I absolutely love this method. You also have face unlock on here too. The in-display fingerprint sensor, it does look cooler. It looks cooler and it works just as good. But like I said, it's just a personal preference. I just kind of like having it on the side. This also has face unlock as well too. So they both do a great job of, the biometrics and stuff like that. All right, so let's just get into the biggest upgrade here. So like I said, the biggest upgrades so far would be display, and then it would be the cameras really. I don't think speed is really a big thing on here, and it really depends on if you're going to use the stylus or not. The cameras are I wouldn't say a big upgrade quality wise, like just massive jump in quality, but you just have so many cameras. So if you're somebody that loves to take pictures, you've got all the cameras in the world that you could want on the S22 Ultra. So let's go ahead and get into these specs. It's got an 108 megapixel standard, 10 megapixel periscope telephoto lens, has another 10 megapixel telephoto lens, 12 megapixel ultra wide. You have a macro mode on here, 8K video at 24 frames, and then a 40 megapixel selfie cam that shoots in 4K 60. The S10e has a dual camera setup, so it has a 12 megapixel standard, 16 megapixel ultra wide, 4K at 60, and then 10 megapixel selfie that does 4K at 60. So as you can see, just way more cameras. The S22 Ultra is able to do the 100 times zoom thing, which a lot of people just absolutely love. It takes great zoom shots as well too. So let's go ahead and get into the side-by-side camera comparison. I'll show you guys the video as well too. Do you guys notice a big upgrade, or are you guys just not seeing it? Video on the Ultra 0.6 3 times 10 times. Here's the S10e. 0.5, and here's the digital zoom. Alright, so lastly, let's talk about the battery life. Are you getting better battery life on the S22 Ultra? And yes, you're getting much better battery life. Obviously, because you're going from a smaller phone to a bigger phone, so this phone has a bigger battery. It's got a 5,000 milliamp battery with 45 watt charging, with wireless charging and reverse wireless charging. The S10e's battery life is not bad by any means, but the battery is smaller. It's a 3,100 milliamp battery with 15 watt charging, so it charges slower. And then you also have the wireless charging and reverse wireless charging. So basically, you can easily squeeze all day battery life out of the S22 Ultra here. The S10e, it can usually go for around 4 hours and 30 minutes. If you use it kind of lighter, maybe 5 hours, but you definitely are getting a pretty big upgrade as far as the battery life goes, and also the charging speeds as well. So that's pretty much it. So if you want a bigger phone, it's a pretty good upgrade overall, but you are losing your headphone jack and your SD card support as well. So you are getting a good upgrade, but just remember to take that in mind. Also, something that you need to know is that the S10e is currently in its security patch stages. Android 12 was the last update for this phone. The S22 Ultra, you will get 4 years of major OS updates and then 5 years of security patches. This phone, if you buy it, you really won't need to upgrade for the next, I don't know, maybe 8 years. Also, that's something to think about as well. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.